also, when I first started high jumping and I found out that this was something that would allow me to potentially represent my country and travel, which I love traveling. I was all about it. Any opportunity I had to go to a different place and experience a different culture, I wanted to do that. So finding out that track and field would be an avenue for that, then I wanted to figure out, well, what's the best I can be? Okay, the Olympic Games, that seems like the top of the top. So in my mind, when I was going to school in South Carolina, that was the end goal. Cool. By the end of my time here, I should be going to the Olympic Games, because that's like the goal to have. And maybe that was super naive, but it helped me because I had a standard for myself. I knew exactly what it took to get to the Olympic Games. So then every year I could say, well, I need to jump this much more. I need to increase my PR by this much more, because this is the trajectory that I'm on. So kind of all those things coming together help to maintain that motivation to eat better, go for those extra runs, etc. And then the third thing that was a big motivator for me, after I was already kind of in the groove of, I want to go to the Olympics, I'm going to do some extra runs, etc. My junior year indoors, I had a rival. She went to University of Georgia. Her name was Leontia, and she would beat me all the time. I was always second to her. And I was just so annoyed by it. Every time we would go head to head, she would beat me by a little bit or by misses or something. And indoor nationals, I was like, I'm going to beat this girl. This is my title. You know, I didn't have a indoor national title. She had it all the previous 3 years. And she beat me again. I was second again. And I just remember being so pissed. I think I cried on the phone to my mom for an hour outside of the indoor facility. And the week we went back, I went to Coach Fry's office and I told him, you need to redshirt me next year. And he was like, no, why would I do that? You know, like, there are points to be had. Why would I redshirt you? And I was like, if you let me redshirt, I promise I will be national champion next when I come back outdoor. Like, so he was like, yeah, okay, that's risky. And I was like, just trust me, like I can do this. So he was very generous and let me do it. This was obviously a conversation I had with Coach D beforehand, and we decided this was a good idea, but I'm just condensing the story. Mm-hmm. And then that next year, I worked harder than I have ever worked in my life. I remember throwing up in the weight room after a weight room session. So not just even a track session, but like we were going so hard in the weight room. I would work one-on-one outside, like away from the team at a different time slot with the weight room coach. And when I came back that next outdoor, I just knew that there was no way she was going to beat me that year. And yeah, that was my senior year. That was 2015. I was undefeated the entire season.
Oh, yeah.
And I won nationals.
Yeah, you came in that season with a mission.
You made a decision. You made a decision. And because you made that decision, everything you did facilitated that decision. So you're like, I'm going to win. And you lived like it. You lived it. You walked the walk and it happened. So wonderful.
I had really great support, because deciding to do that and do it by myself, it would not have been possible. My coach was on board, my weight room coach was on board, and they were doing everything they could to make sure that I could be in that position.
Well, as a coach, when you see someone with that much conviction, you get excited about it. When someone is like, hey, look, I'm doing this and this is nothing's going to stop me. You're like, ooh, okay. Yeah, I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that is a testament to planning too, because so often a lot of athletes just like throw out things like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. But you never really sit down and say like, okay, what do I need to accomplish this goal? And what do I actually want this goal? Is it realistic? Is it something that I can achieve? Then take a step back. Okay, I need to have my coach, my weight training coach, everyone on board. And this is what the goal is. So once you have that why, then you put that process together as your objectives and your goals, then that makes it happen. So often we try to like throw things out without effectively planning. So that's a great testament to know that, okay, you went in and said like, I need an extra year. And if you give me this extra year, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to achieve this goal. and
Yeah.
you went ahead, and that was something that you had in the back of your mind constantly, whenever you were discouraged, whenever you were just like, why am I doing this? You had that to go back into your mind. So that's one thing that as athletes, as people in business, anything, you just have to have that goal, take steps back so you can get your objectives, and then create a plan and stick to the plan.
Yes,
No,
and give
absolutely.
yourself time.
Mhm.
That was a
Yeah,
big
understand that there's a time aspect to it. Like everything's not gonna happen overnight. And that's another thing that that we learn a lot through this podcast. It didn't happen overnight. We talked to champions, Olympic champions, NCAA champions, and it didn't happen overnight. They made the decision, they took a step back, they just like, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z. And if I do exactly what I need to do, this is gonna happen. And it's just like everything is direct. Is nothing, everyone has different, accolades, but they all made the same decision. They all made a plan, and they had to be disciplined and stick to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the other thing I noticed as well, when you talk about all these people that we've spoken to, all these wonderful athletes and people, is that once they make that, like they were already at a certain point before they, in a lot of these cases, decided on getting to another level. And so I think a lot of times when we see people who are Olympians and champions and different things, everyone's like, oh, they were just blessed. They were lucky. They were put in a certain situation. And I'm like, no, they were talented and we're throwing up in the weight room. Like, it's not, you don't avoid the throwing up in the weight room piece. Like people be like, oh, that person doesn't have to work hard. No. You have to be that good and willing to work like anyone else. There's no easy way to it. So, there's only one path to being an Olympian, to being an NCAA champion, and it's never going to be easy, no matter how talented you are. Without, practice and work, that talent is nothing. So, that's you were already at a level where you're at a, SEC, NCAA Division I program, high level program, and you still have to push yourself to the extent that you're, throwing up in a weight room, which is a difficult thing. I mean, I don't know what you're doing in there.
Them sled pushes, let me tell you.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. Yeah. So you got it. There's no avoiding it, folks.
No, it's gonna be ugly. It's an ugly process, but the reward is worth it.